Happy Friday. Um, listen, I decided to pop my head in to the group. Typically, we're doing business breakthrough on a Thursday or a Friday, and I hadn't prepared anything for this Friday. However, a question came up on one of our coaching calls, one of our client calls, and it kind of got me thinking a little bit about um, where you guys might be in terms of conversion, right? So let me start just by saying this is one of the big things that continually everyone seems to be focused on is generating more leads, right? We want to generate more leads. The problem with that mindset, guys, is leads cost money or they cost time, but there's definitely a cost somewhere to you getting more leads. And the thing that I would ask you to look at is rather than keep thinking about generating more and more leads, think about how do I actually convert more of the leads that I'm getting, right? Because conversion doesn't cost you anything. Moving your conversion from 10% to 15% to 20, 25%, there's no cost to that. What it is you getting really, really good at your conversations. So, to that end, right, I want to tell you a little bit about what we think is going on and how you might be able to switch up, right, your conversion conversations to actually just being better, right? Just being better at what you do. And, if you're on this and conversion has been a kind of a problem for you, feel free, stick it in the chat. Let me know. Let me know who you are, right? We're doing this through Restream right now, and I got no idea who's on and who's not. So feel free to kind of stick your name in and ask a question, and I'll try and answer it while I'm on here. So let's talk about what's going on, your conversion. So we think that there's typically three things that's going on that's stopping you getting the level of conversion that you should be getting, right? From your prospects. So let me kind of walk you through this. Yes, we're going to do some drawing. Good morning, Facebook user. I've got no idea who you are. Feel free to put your name in. So listen, there's three things we want to talk about. And there's three things that we need to get a little bit clearer about. So what are three things that are stopping your prospects buying from you, right? What's getting in the way? What is the roadblock? So the first one, right, we're going to call it you number one, right? You number one is they are unsure, right? So what are they unsure about? Well, they're unsure about you, probably. If you're coming into this game and you're having this conversation, but you're coming in it with, say, a lack of credibility or a lack of social proof, then the chances are that all you've really brought to the game is yourself, right? That's all you've done. You've brought you. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you, but from a prospect standpoint, if you're only bringing yourself into the conversation and there is no credibility, you've got no social proof, then, having a smile and good intentions isn't really going to cut it that much, right? So you want to make sure that in any conversation, you can bring some social proof into the equation, whether it might be a case study, recommendations that you're getting on your LinkedIn profile, whatever it might be. We want to make sure we introduce those into the equation. And typically, one of the things that we did back in the day, and I would say that it's probably something that you might still want to do, is before you actually get involved in a conversation, is send the prospect your profile from LinkedIn. Just create a PDF, create the recommendations, and just say, listen, before we actually get together, just so you know that I'm the real deal, you're going to see recommendations that I've got from, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 people on LinkedIn. It just helps give them that confidence, that little bit more confidence. So that's the first thing, right? So them being unsure about you is the first thing. Now, what about you number two? Well, you number two is uncertain, right? Or uncertainty. Well, what are they uncertain about? Well, they're going to be uncertain about the result you're going to provide. If you're not clear with them about the system you have, how you're going to get that result, the way that you're going to get that result for them, then this level of uncertainty is, you know, that's going to be the game for them, right? No one wants to get into anything where they're feeling uncertain about how it's going to happen. And if you're a coach, especially if you're a coach, right? What they want is to understand how this result, this result is going to be tangible. Because coaching in itself can be a pretty, ephemeral type thing. And even coaches sometimes have a really tough time explaining how they're going to get the result for the client. So what we want you to be thinking about is getting really clear on what the system is that you're going to walk your client through, how you're going to get that result for them, and you being able to articulate that to your prospect in a very clear, very precise, and very simple way so that they immediately get what it is that you're going to help them with and what this result is going to be at the end. So what we don't want to have in our game, right? What we don't want to have in the coaching business is getting on calls and just having chats. This is not a business for chatting. This is a business for getting results. Okay? So the second thing you want to be doing is making sure that, do I have a system? Is that system clear? Can I explain that system to a potential prospect? And can I show them how my system is going to get them the result that they want? All right. So that's number two of the U's. Now, you number three, unclear, right? They lack clarity. Now, what are they unclear about? Well, typically what we found is that they're unclear about the process. So the system is kind of one thing, right? The system is one thing. Here's how we're going to get it. Here's all the training. Here's the modules. Here's the platform we're going to use. But what is the process for the coaching? Like, what is the process that I'm going to be walking through in order to get the result that I want or the result that you're promising me? So again, like your system, we want to make sure that the logistics of how that result is going to be attained, right, is going to be clear. Because guys, if you can't do this, if you can't show credibility, if you can't show a system, and if you can't show a process for your prospect to get the result they're looking for, game over. All right. The conversation is going to go absolutely nowhere. So if you add them together, right, here's what you get. You get run. Right? The prospect is going to bail. The prospect is going to run a mile. So think about the conversation that you're having with your prospect. Think about how this whole thing is transpiring. Think about it from their point of view. See, here's one of the things. You might think that what you're doing is fine. You might think that how you're explaining something makes sense, but remember, it does make sense in your head, but to your prospect, it may not. So get your social proof. Make sure your prospect has that credibility or social proof in their hands before you have a phone call. Make sure you can either describe or show. Show is much better, right? Show your system and how this actually works, right? What are the components of the system that you're going to use to get the result? And then third, have your process mapped out. Here's how many times we're going to speak. Here's how long it's going to be. Here's going to be the format of the conversation, right? And if you're going to be working with someone for 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, better still have a roadmap that actually shows them each month or each 6 weeks, wherever it is for you, this is how we're going to move you through our process to get the result at the back end. All right. So there you go. That's it. 3 U's. The 3 U's. Unsure, uncertain, unclear. Solve those problems and your conversion rates will go up. Now, I'm not going to say that it's going to double, but if you can go from a 10% conversion rate to a 20% conversion rate, or go from 1 in 10 to 2 in 10, that's doubling it up, right? Easy stuff. Easy stuff that you should be doing anyway. So guys, again, happy Friday. Just want to jump in. Hopefully you'll find this useful. Feel free to leave your comments. Let me know if you've been watching live or if you're watching on a replay. But until we talk again, next week we're going to go through, well, it's going to be longer, but I'm going to walk you through the 7 deadly sins of education-based marketing. So if you aren't doing it, you all should be doing some level of education-based marketing. But there are some big mistakes that a lot of you are making that's hindering you actually getting the result that you're looking for in terms of lead generation and conversion. So I'm going to walk you through what those 7 deadly sins are next week. And I think it's going to be Friday. It will be Friday. And we'll do it at 10:30. So all good, right? So it's actually in the events. So if you look at the events, you can actually see it there. Let me know if you're going to come. I'm doing it regardless. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you then, guys. All right. Okay, listen, have a great weekend and talk soon. All right, take care.